Hey, good morning. Welcome back to Ohrmundt Simmentals. This is Chris. All right, it is Saturday morning and a little bit different start to the morning. I'm still drinking my coffee. This is a good sign for the morning. We're getting ready to feed these guys their stuff and they are ready to roll. They want their feed. And that is exactly what we're hoping for. But on the list for today, we are grinding corn. It is a must for us today. We're also going to revise the mix a little bit today and go back to a little bit more of what we used to do with our mix, making it a little bit, as we call it, a little hotter. We're gonna mix it a little hotter. Basically, well, I'll explain it when we get there. All right, calves are fed. This is a really good sign. So our corn crib is kind of at that point where it shouldn't be too bad getting corn out this time. Our next load will be kind of a pistol, but actually our next two loads will be kind of pistols, but I might have to crawl in there towards the end, but I'm not sure yet. We'll see. And grinding. It is definitely dry, that's for sure. So I had mentioned earlier that we were going to do a little something different with our mix. So if you haven't seen it before, we've got some older videos that where I go and talk about our mix a little bit more in depth. So I'll try to remember to tag some of those at the end of the video, so watch for that. But what we're gonna do is typically this hopper, if you remember, is like 2 full ones and then like a half a one will fill our bin. And what we would do is we would put in like 2 bags of our mix per a full hopper. Well, when we first started doing this mix, we would actually do like 3 bags per full hopper. But we cut back a little bit so we wouldn't have to get the mix so often. Well, what that does is it makes the mix less hot or less potent or lower quality. Not super lower quality, but it is set to balance out to get a little higher rate of gain out of the calves with the amount of cob corn that's going in there. I convinced Dad to go back to our 332 versus 221 as far as bags to hoppers full. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're using more of the mix to richen up that feed a little bit and make it a little bit more effective, get a little higher rate of gain, and then we'll add that corn silage in a couple of weeks. All right, first hopper full is in the books. What I'm gonna do in between, I gotta load up buckets for the steers. They need their morning ground feed. All right. right, last chunk of ground feed's going in the bin. This should fit no problem. We probably could have put a little bit more in the gravity box, but it's hard to tell. We'll get this put up there. We'll get the grinder put away, get the gravity box put away. We'll take a little bit of a lunch and then probably decide if we want to work on the chopper, getting that going, or cleaning out the area. It's going to be one or the other. Badgers play at 2:30 today against USC. That should be interesting, and I want to watch a little bit of that. And I got a wedding for a friend of mine that me and Bethany are going to go to for a little bit later on this evening. All right, so we're down at the shop, and we are going to be working on getting the John Deere 3970 up and running. I did get a owner's manual for it, but stupid me got an owner's manual for 75, a 55 and a 55/75 owner's manual, and I should have got the 50/70 owner's manual. But I did find a 3970 owner's manual, and I did order it, but it's not going to be here till Tuesday. I don't think they're very different, but still wanted to have the 3970 versus the 75. But for what we're going to do probably in the next couple of days, the one we have should suffice. One little thing that was not so good on the actual pickup was, and we worked on this the other day, this nose cone, this tip was kind of mangled up and stuff. This is like the skid, and I think this is actually supposed to be bent up a little more, you know, and then this just kind of like rides on or over that. I think what we're going to do, now that we've got the Arc Captain MiG 200, we've got this little sheet steel, because what happened was there's a little bit of a roll here. This got like rolled under and all that kind of stuff. So not that we need this tip to like really look any different. We don't want there to be something where just weeds and grass and garbage get caught up in there. So what we're probably going to do is form that around there and weld that on there. So where are we at? We've got this is the power supply. So it did come with some cabling. We've got that spliced together and run under the tractor cab. We have an idea for mounting that up there. We put in a crossbar for mounting the monitor for the baler. So what we're gonna do is make a new plate. We've got some plate in there, and then bolt that to the back of that monitor, and then bolt that to the crossbar, because we'll be able to set that up decent. And then we got the power supply run through. So we are run under the cab, under here, and it's this guy, and then there was enough room in one of these grommets for us to sneak through, and then we're right here, and then we can just come up. This is where you hook your accessories. Like this, I believe, is the baler. Or no, baler's actually right there. This, I think, is like, oh, this is this auxiliary light switch for the guy who had it before. Added a bunch of LED lights like that guy. We have enough for this. We just got to put some ring lug ends on it and then tap into one of those and set up that plate. So then we'll do that tomorrow. We're able to listen to and kind of watch. Had it playing on my phone while we were working, so every once in a while I could peek at it and we could at least listen to it, which was nice. Surprising, I think it's close to halftime, and Badgers are up 21-10 against USC, currently ranked 13th. So that's nice. And of course the cows are greedy, because they're coming up here, and a couple of them are like, hey, fresh feed, where is it? Well, they're not getting any because they have more than enough grass out there. When you can look out on your pasture and cows are grazing and they're eating grass and you can't see the tip, you can't see like the nostrils, you can't see like the transition of like the pink on their nose or the soft skin on their nose to the hair, you know they have enough grass. Because what that means is if cows can avoid it, they're not going to go all the way down to the dirt. They will. It's really hard for them. But if they're out there grazing and you can't see their noses, then that means you have at least like 6-8 inches of grass out there. So there's a lot of that out there. Hey, good morning. All right, Sunday morning, ground feed for the calves, ground feed for the steers, and then off to the shop to work on the chopper. All right, so again, they're coming up pretty nicely, liking their stuff. Not really figuring out yet. They can go over there. They will, just a little time. All right, so where did we leave off yesterday? So we got the hitch set up to where we think it should be, because what the book tells us on a small 1000 PTO shaft seems a little off. But again, that is a different chopper. So we got it set to pretty close to where we think it should be. We'll wait if the book is a little different. It's a little different when we get it. What we did do is we got the electrical run over to here, and we have it sitting right here. So we got to put some ring lugs on that and get that hooked up to the accessories part. As far as this guy, we think we're just going to run it with the back window open because that cable is so big. Yeah, and just do it that way. But we do need to make a bracket for that to mount up to. Alright, so we've got this control panel mounted. And that seemed to turn out okay. Just a couple of self-tapper screws. Puts us at a little bit of an angle, but not too bad. What else? And then we've got this set up to where we think it should be. And then everything back here, we just took this guy and actually zipped it to these brackets. We're gonna see if it works. Guess we'll find out. Maybe not running it, but just making sure, like, right now we're looking for, like, controls. You know, getting the hydraulics working, pivoting stuff, all that good stuff.
What do you have to do?
I'm holding it. Okay, as you've seen, we got that to work, and it's really just understanding like where the hydraulics have to be engaged to power this guy back here, and then the electrical tells the valves which way to go. Because I mean, this guy is a control. Pivoting this is a control. The flap up there is one. Swinging the head out and up and down. That was another little thing that we liked about these John Deeres for the price. You kind of got all these bells and whistles, which, I mean, for us, coming from the 717, that's a big upgrade. At first, this head was rotated way off to the side, and the motor was running, the worm gear was running, but this gap right here was way over here, and it wasn't catching, so we had to just pry that over, and once we had it set, we were good to go. So now Dad's gonna double check something. It seems like the head's raising really fast. He said there's a setting on there for that, so he's gonna look into that, and I'm gonna start greasing. All right, we're back out in the shop, and I need the pneumatic air gun because it has that tip. Got a couple that aren't, well, a couple that I need a smaller tip to get to, and then one's not taking grease, and hopefully the pneumatic's got a little more snap than the Milwaukee one does. So we'll find out. I've got most of them done, and then Dad found where the speed regulator thing or setting or whatever is for the pickup to slow that down, so he's gonna probably work on that. And then there's gonna be, it looks like there's quite a few gearboxes on here that gotta get checked too. All right, we've come to the point where we're gonna try and spin it. A lot of interesting things on this chopper. This is way more complicated than the 717, but let's see what happens. All right, so we're back at the farm. Right now, what we need to do is I need to feed a bale to the cows. A bale needs to go in the back for the cows and the bull, and then ground feed for the calves. All right, swap out the bucket, get a bale. Let's get feeding, because Dad and I have to be on the road by 4:30 for a little road trip. Every once in a while, you just let the cows kind of do the work for you. They had it going. All right, we don't have time for games today. And And there is literally a bare spot right there, so that's a good spot for the court. All right, everybody made it over here. Cher kind of got herself stuck a little bit, but she figured it out. She's a smart cookie. All right, now we got to get one for the cull cows and the bull. Dad said he would like a second crop, so I guess we'll grab a second crop. All right, so everybody's fed. I've got to get in the house and get going. Dad and I have a little field trip we got to go on. It's gonna be too dark to show you if we bring anything back, so you guys are just gonna have to wait for the next video. If you got any questions, please leave them in the comments. Hope you guys liked the video. Hit that thumbs up button. And as always, thanks for coming along.